Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look at primary keys and how they're used in MySQL and also how it works with Hibernate. So what I'll do is I'll go to the MySQL workbench. I'll go ahead and log in, use my same password, HB student. And let's go look at our table here. So I'll go under HB student tracker. I'll go to the student table and I want to look at the actual structure of the table. So I simply do a right click and I choose alter table. Okay, so we're not really going to alter it, just going to look at the structure of it at this time. All right, so note here our column for ID. PK means primary key, NN means non-null, and over on the far right we have AI. This actually means auto increment. So basically this is our primary key. Every time we add a new entry here, it's going to auto increment that ID for us. And this is a really good feature of MySQL. I love it. You simply offload it or outsource it to the database and let it handle the incrementing. All right. So that's our idea here. So let's go ahead and look at our table. As far as the rows here, just do a select on that table. And right now we have that one entry for Paul Wall. That's from our previous video and the ID was 6. Now, again, I ran this a couple of times before. That's why the first ID was 6. But what we're going to do is actually move into the Java code and we're going to run it again and add some more students. And we'll see how this thing auto increments. All right, so what I want to do is actually go to this student class, and by default, it uses that identity strategy, but I want to just go ahead and add this annotation here to the code just to be complete with it. So here I'll say generated value, and I'll specify the strategy. This is like we saw in the source code. I'm sorry, what we saw in the slides. And here I'll say generation type dot. And then actually, let me back up here. So now you can see all of the options here that we discussed in the slides. Auto, identity, sequence, and table. I'm going to go ahead and select identity. That's the one that you'll commonly use when you make use of the MySQL database with auto increment. All right, now I'll go ahead and fix the imports here on the left-hand side. Okay, great. So let me just kind of expand my imports here just to make sure everything got pulled in properly. All right, so on lines 5 and 6, generated value and generation type. So we're good to go here. So this is good stuff for us. All right. All right. So now let's go ahead and create a little program that's going to add multiple students. So I'll actually create a new class to kind of handle this for me. So I'll just do a right click. I'll say new class, and the actual name of the class here, I'll call it primary key demo. And then at the bottom, I'll check the box here for public static void main. And then I'll go ahead and hit the finish button. Okay, cool. So it's a very basic class here, just like before. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to actually copy some code from our create student demo because we need to do something very similar. We're going to use this in our new program. So do a little copy paste programming here. Please forgive me. So I'm going to highlight some code from our previous example, create student demo.java. Copy everything from that main method. Just right click and choose copy. And I'll move back to my primary key demo and I'll get rid of that auto-generated code. And I'm going to paste in the code that I copied over. So again, I'm just going to do a copy paste. I'm copying from the create student demo and I'm pasting it here to my primary key demo. Because all I want to do here is basically add multiple students. All right, so instead of adding this student Paul Wall, because we added him already, I'm going to add 3 new students. So let me just kind of update my comments here for a second. So I'll say create 3 student objects. Now I'm just going to update my print line also. And so I'll just do a copy paste on this Paul Wall. And I'll just kind of rename the variables here, student 1, student 2, student 3. And just update the names here. John Doe. Mary Public. And Bonita Applebaum. And just quick update here on the email addresses. John, Mary, Bonita. And I think I spelled Applebaum incorrectly. I think it's Applebum. Yeah, actually that is incorrect. So let me change that. So that's Applebaum, no A there. Bonita Applebaum. It's a great song. One of my favorite songs from one of my favorite groups. So Google it if you have a chance. Bonita, Bonita, Bonita. I love it. All right. Okay. Away from music and back to coding now. So here, I'm going to save the students. So I'll drop in these 3 students here. So, session.save temp student 1, 2, and 3. So it'll save it. And the key here is that it's going to make use of that primary key and that auto increment. And each student will automatically get a new ID based on that auto increment feature of MySQL. All right, so that looks good so far as with that coding. So let's go ahead and save this example and let's run it. Okay, so it ran over here on the side. Let me kind of expand the window so you can see it. And let me highlight our given section. Yeah, so creating 3 students, saving the students, and then that Hibernate SQL debugging, it'll print out. So it did the 3 students on the inserts and done. So this looks cool. All right, so now we should be able to go over to our MySQL workbench and query that table and see those new values or those new students that have been added. So swinging back over here. So let me just move back to this window and let me just do a select on this student table again and pow, wow, awesome. So we have those 3 students that were just added, John Doe, Mary Public, and Bonita Applebaum. You got to put me on. So good. This is great. And also note the IDs here, 7, 8, 9. So again, MySQL is handling the auto increment for us. So we don't have to manage the ID. We let the database handle the auto increment for us. So good job. Now, what I'm going to do is in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can change the auto increment values. You may want to have it start at a different value, or you may want to reset it. And I'll cover that in the next video. But so far, this is a good job. So I'll see you in the next one.